Hello and welcome to the Sacred Priestess podcast, a beautiful sacred space for awakening women where I share insights and tools and teachings of the divine feminine wisdom through the teachings of the rose and the priestess path, so that you can move through your spiritual awakening, your spiritual development with ease and flow and support. So today we are talking about why circle matters, about walking this spiritual path together, why women's circles are coming back with a force, and why it is more important now than ever for us to be doing this. So, hello. I'm Hayley. If you are new here, thank you so much for being here. If you are returning, it's amazing to have you back. And thank you so much for taking time out to be with me and be present in your own journey, and hopefully get a little bit activated and learn something new through this podcast today. So, like I said, we're talking about the importance of sisterhood, the energy that it creates, the effect that it has on our community, on our souls, on our beingness. Because this journey of spiritual development, of awakening, of healing, it can feel really lonely. And when we first hit our awakening, this is what a lot of people experience. A lot of women experience sort of isolation, of not knowing where to turn, because 9 times out of 10 within your family, you're doing that on your own. Within your friends, you're doing that on your own because you are the leader, you are the first. And so it can become, like I said, very lonely, a little bit isolating, a little bit scary because you're not sure what to do or how to handle it or which way to turn. And so many of us have been taught that we just have to do it alone, right? That we just have to go ahead and figure it out and just keep struggling through. And a lot of us can be afraid to really give a voice to their divine feminine, and give a voice to the beliefs that are now coming forward with the healing journey, with spiritual development, because you get seen as a bit of a woo-woo or a witch, and it hinders our voice. It doesn't, we don't feel safe. We don't feel like we have a safe space to talk about it, to work through it. We don't have support in it. So yeah, I'm hoping that that I can bring a little bit more into that today. We also get a little bit funny about stepping into circle. I mean, obviously there's a lot of sisterhood wounding that is being cleared at the moment, but we also believe that, in joining a group that maybe we don't know enough, we don't know as much as everybody else in the group. Maybe we're a little bit behind. Maybe we're only just starting on our intuitive journey, on our connection to spirit. And so we feel we aren't intuitive enough to join a group. We don't talk to spirit enough. We don't meditate enough, and we haven't studied all the things. We make up all of these stories that allow our akashics and these negative beliefs to rule the decisions that we make in terms of coming into circle and stepping into circle and allowing ourselves to be held by other women, because like I said, there is a lot of healing and wounding there that needs to be, a healing that needs to be done from wounding. So when we step into spiritual development and into our awakening, and we're moving down this path, the pull to actually step into circle and be around like-minded women, be, like I said, in a space where you can be held, where you can be heard, where you can be seen, where you can exchange energy and stories and knowledge, actually gets really, really loud. It's just those beliefs that can stop us from stepping into that. But what we are talking about today really is, let's talk about why this is happening. Why are we being called back into circle? Why are so many women feeling that deep desire to really get that connection back with the divine feminine through women's circles? And there is an activation of the remembrance of divine feminine right now, of sisterhood, of women in community, of what that used to look like back in the day, and how that's changed. And that's been kicking off for us in a few different ways. And when women get together intentionally to really talk about spirituality, to open up their intuition, to remember the divine feminine together, to remember mystery schools, all of those things, it really does form a lattice work of energy. And that energy that it creates, that that huge energetic field it produces, moves into the ley lines, and so it activates remembrance, not only for human consciousness, not only for you in the circle surrounded by beautiful women, but it also moves into the ley lines, into timelines. It restores grids that are distorted and broken. And so when we get together, the geometry triggers this beautiful divine feminine energy on the planet that really starts to activate dormant cellular memory within us as humans, within the planet, within the consciousness, and like I said, within the grids and the timelines that we're trying to restore, or that the awakening is restoring on the planet. It connects us to our ancestors when we move into circle, and this remembrance that's coming. We're connecting back to our ancestry, and I'm talking ancient ancestry, cosmic ancestry, goddess energy, all of that ancient wisdom, Christus Sophia. We become a conduit for this divine feminine, and this remembrance of circle brings safety and belonging. So that we know that we're held by this divine feminine energy of circle. So I'm just going to talk about 3 different things today that this is bringing forward, that women's circles are bringing forward, and why circle matters right now, and the importance of what's happening here. So first of all, I want to talk about ancient community and divine feminine initiation, because we have just lost the beautiful journey of womanhood, and that is being restored. We've now taught within our society that as a woman, as you age, as you move through your journey on this earth, you get less attractive, less useful, you're less important. Women don't get led through initiation. We used to move through periods, evolutions from child to maiden, maiden to crone. Because we are now living a lot longer, we now have one in between that, and the perimenopausal, menopausal stage brings queen energy. So we're moving from child to maiden, maiden to queen, queen to throne, queen to crone, as we move this journey on this earth. And each stage of those, they're so important, not just for women, but for our community in general. And back in the day, it was important for the tribe in general. And each stage that you went through, you were initiated into. It was a big deal. And the what's the word I'm looking for? The stature, I suppose, that it brought with each initiation, the wisdom that you brought with each initiation, the way that your role changed within the group brought so much to everybody around you. It brought so much to everyone around us within that. Women supported each other through each stage of these journeys. We energetically prepared women for birth. We energetically prepared the younger girls as their menstrual cycle began. We supported them in that, led them into a connection to their bodies and the cycle of their bodies, and the importance of the menstrual cycle, the importance of birth, the importance of creation that happens when you move into this stage. So, when as nowadays, most girls get told, oh, you've got your period now, you're going to have to suck it up, it's going to hurt, it's going to be this, it's going to be that. It's not a proud initiation. It's, shame, and it's embarrassment, and it's, oh, well, now you're going to really hurt every month. And, all of these things that come up with it, that just, it's lost its beauty and its connection into the body, its connection into who we are as divine feminine beings. So all of that's going to be starting to come back now as we move into this new phase of awakening that we're moving into. so we supported each other in that journey. We supported each other in spiritual development as we sat in circle. The elders would share stories, teachings, insight. We'd sit around laughing and singing, chanting, connecting to the cosmos, connecting to the earth, connecting to spirit together, and really having that community being held, supported, heard, all the things that we were talking about before. So this is what we are being called back to, into the divine feminine, honoring the development of womanhood. And I encourage you to look back, and I really do want to do some more work on this and bring forward some meditations on this with really a self-initiation almost through meditation of all of these journeys, of all of these stages of womanhood, so that we can actually really tap into that and ignite that properly. So we're honoring the development of womanhood. That's what we're stepping into, the spiritual significance of the stages of our lives, so that women are again seen as wise elders, as teachers, as leaders with something to offer and something to share, changing the narrative on, also the progression physically as well as spiritually. So that is number one. Number two, mystery school remembrance and sacred teaching. So it is the remembrance of our priestess energy, of sacred connection to all that is, to psychic abilities, healing abilities, moving through the teachings of the rose, which bring that connection to Venus. Venus is all about the divine feminine. She is about moving into shadow and into darkness and emerging into light. So it is that journey of self-discovery, that journey of self-awareness, of healing, of getting to know who you are as a spiritual human being, getting to know and love yourself, and move all of those things out of the way so that we can really step into our divine presence and who we are meant to be on the earth. And that is what Venus at the teachings of the rose, this mystery school remembrance, brings for us, tapping back into that. It's about the mystery schools are coming back, and they were about gathering to practice and witness and learn spirited teachings, that had been passed down from Mu and Lemuria through Horus, through Isis, through Mary Magdalene. This is the line and the lineage that all of this comes through. The mystery schools were about, and what's coming back is the devotion to spirituality, understanding that you are a part of something so big and so great. Like I said, it's really about that gnosis of self-awareness, of self-knowledge, of loving self and understanding self. And by understanding self, by uncovering and really knowing who you are, you then know and understand God and Goddess. You become part and understand that you are part of God, Goddess, of divine masculine, divine feminine, and the amount of things that unravel for us in that as we walk our spiritual journey. And when we start tapping into these mystery school teachings, when we start moving into the remembrance of ancient wisdom and the divine feminine path, the path of womanhood, this is when we really start to walk this path, this spiritual healing, this awakening with more ease and more flow, because we have the insights, we have the knowledge, we have the knowing, we have the teachings to guide us along our path. We are never alone. There is never, there's nothing we can't sort out if we return to these teachings and see ourselves in the stories. In the sacred priestess initiation, we work with the goddesses. We work with Mary Magdalene, Isis, the seven sisters of the Pleiades, Athena, Aphrodite. They all bring forward their beautiful stories. Their stories bring forward keys of the priestess path that we can look into, reflect on, and we see the mirrors in our own stories. And in using these teachings, in stepping back into this remembrance, it really does bring comfort, I suppose, and confidence, because when you have these keys and you know where you can turn, it gives you the confidence to move forward with ease and flow, the confidence to move forward on your journey in the best way possible, living in as much light and love for yourself and others as possible. So Isis, who takes as through journeys of activating remembrance to the priestess teachings, to her temple, where I'm sure all of you, you probably all resonate with Isis and her teachings and the mystery school, because you were probably with her before. You would have been with her in her mystery schools, learning about this remembrance. Aphrodite, her beautiful temple, and Aphrodite was the embodiment of Venus. And, when we work with her, she takes us to this temple full of women who are bathing in milk baths with rose petals all through it, massaging beautiful oils into, the body, massaging hands, massaging feet, mud baths, facials, energetic healing in her temple, that real pampery loving on the body and loving on self. And so they bring through all of these keys through the mystery schools. And that is why these are also coming back. This is why remembrance of women gathering in this way are coming back also, so that we can be in a safe space to practice our psychic abilities, to talk about our healing abilities, and to talk about our healing as in, diving into our shadow and working through that together, having that beautiful safe space to land. So the final thing I want to talk about is a remembrance that you matter. This is what Circle brings forward. You matter. Your voice matters. Your opinions matter. And we're here to really experience this life. And you've had so many experiences in this lifetime, in past lifetimes. And as you sit in Circle and you are connected to your higher self, to your soul, you are connected to spirit, you bring through channelings as you hear other women and offer consolation, is that the right word? You console other women through your words and through your channeling. Your voice really does matter. That knowing, that knowledge, what you have to share is really, really important, and it is for the betterment of the people in your family, your community, for humanity, as you really allow your voice to speak and open and be heard. I can't say that enough. You matter. Everything you utter, everything you've been through in this lifetime and others matters to how humanity is moving forward. And whether you are moving to these circles in spirituality, for psychic development, or a healing circle, or just getting excited about different spiritual practices and opening up to expansion of what really feels good and what really feels right to you, your voice, your experience, your knowledge can be brought forward. It doesn't have to be in a circle. It can be in the workplace. It can be within your family at home, bringing forward things in a school or sports meeting, on a committee of something that you may be in, like that. Or even politically, maybe you are political, maybe you're feeling the call to move into being more political with your voice. And if you're being called to that, it means that your voice matters in that area. That is your purpose. That is what you are here for. So let's really start clearing that. And Isis really does work with us to start clearing that part of us. And so does Mother Mary, really opening up that higher heart chakra, that voice chakra, that throat chakra, the voice chakra. Oh, goodness gracious me, Hayley. You know what I mean. So I just want you to repeat after me right now. I matter. My voice matters. My energy matters. Because it does. With everything you utter, with everything you offer to everybody you speak to, and to yourself, when you're speaking to self, it all really matters. And there's a few questions that you can ponder on after this. Just so, how do I feel when I tap into ancient community? If you sit and just close your eyes and call your ancient ancestors and your ancient self, I suppose, that past life version of you that was in this circle, how do you feel when you tap into that? And what remembrance is coming up for you tapping into it and thinking about it and talking about it in this way? And also, how do I feel when I close my eyes and really bring forward the mystery schools? When I think about Isis, when I think about Mary Magdalene, what remembrance comes up in that, but also what triggers inside me, right? What do I, when I say my voice matters, when I step into going, yes, like I have ancient remembrance of these mystery schools, and I know that I had huge psychic abilities and healing abilities. How does that make you feel? Does it excite you? Do you get nervous about it? Do you, does your body go into expansion, or does it retract? Is there something that triggers you within that you could maybe look into? So thank you so much for being here with me today. It is really important that we start stepping into circle, that we come together to really, like I said, create that amazing lattice work that we create when divine feminine beings get together, when we get together with that energy, because that is what is missing on this planet. And in this next stage of awakening, it is the divine feminine energy that is really needing to be harnessed in. It is what is helping to wake up remembrance of the Lemurian timelines, to restore those timelines, to restore the Earth's grid, to get rid of the distortion that is happening on the planet. We need that divine feminine energy to come down. We need the remembrance of the importance of the journey of womanhood, of the divine feminine, of connecting into psychic abilities, of channeling, of understanding that there is God, goddess, not just God, that she is an important part. She is creation. You cannot create without the divine feminine. And so all of this is coming back. This is why, as women, we are being pushed so far right now. It's why there's so much happening around women, and it's gone to a whole nother level of women's rights and the safety of women, and in all different kinds of areas. And this is why, you guys, because it's our turn to start bringing this back and harnessing it in. And if you would love to join me in Circle on the 4th of February at 7 p.m. Australian Central Standard Time, I am holding a circle with Mary Magdalene, where she will be coming in to help us to ignite our Magdalene flame, which is that connection between insight in the third eye, our heart, and our womb. It is unlocking that beautiful sacred womb wisdom within us. We'll also talk a little bit about Mary Magdalene. Her energy is amazing. If you would love to come in and connect with her, ignite this within you, start really tapping into this divine feminine, and just be with women, in the circle with women, start helping to create that beautiful lattice work and harness that into the earth. I would love to have you with us. So I will put the link for the registration for that in the show notes. Along with, if you are interested in joining the Sacred Priestess Initiation and working with Isis, Mary, Mother Mary, who, like I said, bring through their stories these amazing keys of the priestess path to help us walk our awakening and our journey with more ease, then I will also put the link for the waitlist, so you can be the first to know when that opens, which will be in the middle of February. So yeah, it's going to be amazing. I can't wait to get the program started again. The last one was a complete success and it was beautiful. We had a great time. So yeah, I will see you again soon. Thank you so much for being